Icarus Gossiper and stopped the show, the centre. Gay Icarus just the leader, 250 out. Gunsynd under the whip, responding to Higgins riding, moves up to Gay Icarus and takes the lead. Gossiper's fighting back, but the grey flash from Gunsynd shot away Gunsynd, and the Caulfield Cup favourites home. Gunsynd's won a length and a half to Gossiper.
Gunsynd. It's a name synonymous with courage. Everybody loved the grey, whether he won or lost. He was a true character of the turf. Gunsynd's pet distance was the mile. No horse before him or since has won Australia's 4 toughest mile races in the same season. Having only his second start for Tommy Smith, Gunsynd won the Epsom at Randwick. In Melbourne, Roy Higgins teamed up with the horse who was to become a legend.
Oh, once we got travelling in the race, I was certainly going down the railway side at about the 600-metre mark, and I just moved him out amongst the tail enders and give him a bit of a click to sort of see if he was going to put himself in the race. And I knew by the home turn that, well, I think he's going to get home because he felt strong.
Gunsynd hooked out 5 or 6 wide, is starting to come home as Tordo gets a split now. Sky Call out wide, took a narrow lead, but Gunsynd's gobbling him up from Tordo. Gunsynd swept to the lead, the grey from New South Wales, and he's bolted in. Gunsynd drawing away to win, a length and a quarter to Sky Call. A length and a quarter third is Tordo from Red God.
And then it was on to Flemington. The heavy going made little difference.
At the 2.5 and the leader Tordo, one clear of the leader other Learzo, one to Tordo. Welsh Prince and Gunsynd out after him, and they're well clear of Levian. At the furlong and a half, Learzo still a length to Tordo. Gunsynd on the outside, coming at the pair of them. Welsh Prince can't go on, and then Levian and Cadet, but Gunsynd swept to the lead at the furlong. And the grey from New South Wales and Brisbane has got the George Adams one by a minute. He's 4 lengths in front of Tordo, Levian, Leazar, and behind them Sky Call, but Gunsynd's won by 6 lengths to Tordo.
And finally to Randwick, where he carried 9 stone 7.
Quickly, here's Gunsynd down the outside with a strong run, and Baggett's in the picture too. Zambari weakening, followed by Coalition. At the furlong post, and Triton raced up and took the lead from Jansbow. Here's the grey Gunsynd out after Triton. It's Gunsynd tackling Triton about a half furlong from home. The top weight draws to the lead. Wide out, Big Butcher's flying home. Gunsynd's got the lead, getting near the line. He's hanging on, and Gunsynd wins brilliantly.
Tommy Smith trained Gunsynd for only 18 months. Under his guidance, the grey won 17 races from 32 starts.
Well, it was like all his great performances. You had to watch that horse to realise how good he was. I never thought he could rise to that great height that he did rise to.
From the time Gunsynd entered Tulloch Lodge as an early 4-year-old, Smith fancied him as a stayer. In the spring of '71, Gunsynd ran 4th in the Caulfield Cup on a miler's preparation when ridden for the only time by George Moore.
Well, that day Moore never gave him a chance because he stuck in on the fence and he never got out. All the way through the race, Moore was pulling him out of the race because he was getting jammed up. And naturally, George was one of his cranky moods that day.
But Smith was convinced he'd stay. And in his last run of that spring, he proved that he could.
Followed in the centre then by Better Talk, a length to Gunsynd from Faleur, and Big Faleur trailing Gunsynd. Gunsynd getting wound up now in the straight as race to the leaders in a stride out wide and dash to the front. Gunsynd. Higgs going for home. He's got a length and a half clear of Rad. Big Faleur under pressure running greenly. It's Gunsynd clear at the furlong, 2 lengths. To Rad. He's got it, 1 Gunsynd. Rad's battling on from Better Talk, Big Faleur and Double Irish, but Gunsynd too fit and too good. Wins it by more than 2 lengths. Close for second placing, dead heat.
Gunsynd's win in the Sandown Cup was the second of 7 consecutive wins. The 4th came in the autumn of '72.
Gunsynd coming 4 deep around them on the turn, and they're followed by Beaches and Levian at the head of the others. Into the straight, Abdul and Rajasab, a length and a half. Gunsynd, Abdul race to the lead. Gunsynd the challenger, and they're followed by Eastern Court, but Gunsynd grabbed Abdul, and they're together inside the furlong. Gunsynd just in front. Abdul won't give in under the whip, but Gunsynd a half length in front. Then Eastern Court. Gunsynd hands and heels holding them at bay, and he'll come away to win it well. Gunsynd by 2 lengths at the finish. Close for the minors, or couldn't split them. Eastern Court.
Winning the Futurity was a good effort, but just 7 days later, Smith stepped him up to 10 furlongs.
But he had that big of a heart that he would accept whatever challenge you put in front of him. He was a great horse that way.
Gunsynd under tight restraint at the 2. Level with Surrender, a length and a half to Gossiper and 4 lengths to Mackay. Gunsynd now has taken the lead at the 2. About a half length to Surrender is gone and a length and a half to Gossiper. But the grey from Gunsynd asked for his effort, has kicked away 2 in front now. Gossiper under the whips out after Gunsynd and then Surrender at the furlong, but Gunsynd a length and a half in front. Gossiper's running a mighty race. Gunsynd will be too strong, of course. And hands and heels, Gunsynd goes down to win by 2 lengths to Gossiper.
At the close of his 4-year-old season, Gunsynd was a household name. His strong, distinctive head appeared on everything from teaspoons to T-shirts. When he resumed in the spring, his popularity reached fever pitch.
Gunsynd had a massive following, not only from Goondiwindi, where the whole townsfolk used to travel around in buses and aeroplanes and whatever just to see him race, but he'd become a public idol, and he had character, he had charisma, he had, like most champions, that enormous will to win. You know, there's very, very few photo finishes in his life that he was ever defeated in, and that's a great sign of a good horse.
Gunsynd's never-say-die attitude was never more evident than in the spring of '72. Carrying 62 kilograms on a heavy track, he was narrowly beaten by the crack miler Triton in the Epsom. Down in Melbourne, he won the Caulfield Stakes.
1 1/4 length then to Gunsynd to half stop the show. 1 to Better Sands, who's put Triton in a pocket. 2 to Grand Scale and 5 to Allen on the corner. Gay Icarus and neck to Gossiper. 1 away Gunsynd. Triton now hooked out 4 deep is going with Gunsynd from Stop the Show. Gay Icarus in front. Gunsynd went wide with Triton out after Gay Icarus, Gossiper and Stop the Show the centre. Gay Icarus just the leader, 250 out. Gunsynd under the whip responding to Higgins riding, moves up to Gay Icarus and takes the lead. Gossiper's fighting back, but the grey flash from Gunsynd shot away Gunsynd and the Caulfield Cup favourites home. Gunsynd's won a length.
At his next start, Gunsynd ran 3rd to Sobar in the Caulfield Cup. It was then on to the weight for age WS Cox Plate at Moonee Valley.
On that occasion, I think that's the first time I've ever seen the great T.J. Smith with a little tear in his eye, and that's a pretty rare occasion.
This was a fitting victory for Gunsynd. After all, the Cox Plate's the race where legends are made.
Gunsynd 3 deep, about to tackle them, and Longfellow and Gunsynd have swept to the lead near the turn. They're followed by All Shot out very wide, running on from Old Icon, Torto, Monufik, Abdul, Gay Icarus. It's Longfellow and Gunsynd on the turn together from Monufik and All Shot. Longfellow's gone. It's Gunsynd in front with All Shot coming at him from Monufik. Gunsynd's under the whip, but he's holding All Shot. All Shot trying hard, but the great grey Gunsynd in front. He's too good. What a champion. The crowd roars and Gunsynd wins a length to All Shot.
The Gundiwindi Greys win in the Cox Plate was one of the most popular ever witnessed on an Australian racetrack. And then, the Melbourne Cup.
And here comes Gunsynd at the 250-metre mark. It's magnifique by a length and a half to Gunsynd. Piping Lane could be the danger. Wider out of Stormy Seas and Double Irish. Piping Lane has moved up, got his head in front of Magnifique. Wider out Stormy Seas and Gunsynd, but Piping Lane has won the money. A boil over. Piping Lane.
The memory of Gunsynd's enormous will to win that day is one of the most renowned performances by a beaten horse in the Cup.
I was standing there waiting outside the judges' box at Flemington. When his number went up for 3rd, you swear blind he won the race. They cheered to a man, and they cheered him right down that magnificent race at Flemington, even though he only won 3rd in the race.
In the autumn, Gunsynd farewelled his Melbourne fans in great style.
He was such a character to the public. He used to stop and look back up into the grandstands out when he was going out on the track, and the public loved him. They'd stand and applaud him, and he'd basically nod to them on the way to the barrier.
And the mighty grey from Gunsynd, who's thrilled so many crowds over the last few years in Victoria. Not going to have a lot up his sleeve. He's a length and a quarter in front, but he's going to win it. Battleground and Old Icon sticking to him, but Gunsynd ridden hard, won by 3/4 of a length to Battleground, and perhaps it's just as well it's his last race here.
Gunsynd of old, he would have beaten them by lengths, and he actually struggled to win that day, and he came back to scale a pretty weary horse, and Tommy Smith wasn't here at the time. He was in Sydney, and the owners were here, and when I dismounted, I turned to 2 or 3 of the owners and I said, "Oh, look, please do us all a favour. Finish. Stop him, retire him. He's living on his heart now."
But the champion who wouldn't give in won 2 more races. The 29th and last win of the great horse's career was yet another special day.
I think his finest performance the day they made a presentation at Rannick, and they made it in the straight And when the crowd was clapping, he just put his head down and lifted his front leg up. I thought that was an amazing performance.
Gunsynd retired to Kiora Stud in the Hunter Valley. His last public appearance was at Rose Hill on Golden Slipper Day 1980. He died at the age of 16 in 1983.